Elementary teachers, let's grow food gardens with your class in 2024. These days, we're talking about the 5 mistakes that I would never make if I were you and I was going to start a school garden. Mistake number 1 is starting with an outdoor garden space. And I thoroughly talked about that in the previous video, yesterday's video. Go find that video, or better yet, go register into my free 60-minute webinar in which I tell you all these mistakes, all the planning with all the practical details and handouts and everything. It's called School Gardens with Ease 2024. Go grab your spot. Today, I want to talk about mistake number 2. I would never go out and try to put together a volunteer group or a gardening committee of some sort that includes other teachers and parents. First of all, it's difficult for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is that people are very skeptical when it comes to school gardens, and rightfully so, because most of the school gardens are either not successful even the first year or abandoned from second year onwards. People don't think school gardens work. And because of that, it's a little bit difficult to bring them in and ask them to volunteer their time into a cause they don't even think will work. Reason number 2 is people think it's a lot of work. And the thing is, people want to be part of something that's already successful. If you make a school garden successful and then you ask for their time to volunteer for summer to come and water it, and you send out a sign-up sheet, you're going to have more than enough volunteers for summer because they've already seen you do it and it's successful. But people don't want to be part of something that's not already successful. It's at the very beginning and they project that it won't be successful and they think it's going to be a lot of work. So it's difficult to put those groups together. But you might be like, no, that's not my community. My community is very supportive and they're all here and we're very enthusiastic and we want to go ahead with this. But you have to understand, managing groups like this is a lot of work. You have to define the roles and responsibilities. You have to make sure nobody's stepping into each other's toes. You have to make sure everybody who was assigned to do something actually does go through with it. And then because you have never done this before, a lot of people are going to come in and they're going to have different opinions about how this garden has to be designed, how it's going to be grown. Some of them are going to tell you how to teach in this garden, etc., etc. It's going to be chaotic and very difficult to manage. But you might be like, nope, I've done this before. I'm an expert in managing these types of groups. My community is perfect. We have the best people on the planet in it, and I'm an expert in managing them. This is going to be a piece of cake. The third argument I have for you is, but why? You don't need them. And this is the most important thing. The reason I'm telling you don't go and do this is because you don't need to do it. First of all, you have to start indoors. That's the phase 1 of your garden. Then you have to make that phase 1 in your classroom and only needs you and your students into a success. And then phase 2, which would be probably next year, you would go take this and go outside and create a school garden. If you want, you don't have to do that because your phase 1 can continue to be your successful garden with your students year after year after year. Very impactful, very amazing. But if you do want an outdoor school garden, you have to start indoors first, learn that, and then take it outside. And when you do take it outside, you still don't need to put together volunteers from the beginning. The volunteers you need are for summertime, to come and water the garden. When you and your students have already grown a successful school garden that's flourishing and amazing, everybody would want to be part of that. And if it's designed well, as I've mentioned in my videos before, the only chore during summer will be watering, and everyone would love to come be a part of something so amazing. So instead of worrying about putting together and managing volunteer groups at the beginning, start thinking about the education that you want to do in this classroom and then school garden. All of that is explained in my School Gardens with Ease 2024 free webinar. Go grab your spot.